Okay, we left off 229. We're doing Dini Arova, the laws which pertain to the willow. Arvi Nochal. The Arova is referred to in the Torah as Arvi Nochal. What does Arvi Nochal mean? It means the willow that grows by a stream. Homatoru Mina Yudua Nikrokain. It's a specific species which is referred to as Arvi Nachal. Now, many people, years ago, today, you only find like old timers. They'll use a branch from a willow tree, which is not valid, which is not kosher. So now, what is the shape of the leaf of the arova? It has a specific shape, and these are all Gemara. Olo shelo moshuch kinachal. It's an elongated leaf. It's not roundish. It's just as a stream flows as long. Similarly, the leaf is a what? Is an extended leaf. It's elongated. Ufiv cholov. Cholok. V'kone shelo odom. The edge of the leaf is smooth. If you take a look at the edge of a leaf of a willow tree, it's jagged. The leaf of an arova, the willow that the Torah is speaking about, it's a smooth-edged leaf, and the stem has like a reddish color. It's not green. It has like a reddish tinge to it. I feel the yora kosher. Even if it's not, it's also valid. Even if it doesn't, it's not red. Rove means what? That's the mouth. The mouth. Verov means godel al necholim. This particular species, the majority of the species, I mean, you could plant it, you could transplant it anywhere, but it grows where? It grows by areas of water, streams. Kach nikru arvi nochal. The reason why it's referred to as the willow of the nachal, because it grows by a stream. Afilo yigodel b'midbar or b'horim. If it's the same species, it grows in the desert, it grows in the mountains, kosher. People plant them in the backyards. They have a willow, right? An arova bush. Yesh min echad domel arov. There's another species which resembles the arova. She'ola shelo ogul upiv domel lemaser. It resembles it, except the leaf is more round, and the edge of the leaf is jagged, like a saw, like a saw. Maser is a saw. Pirsh megiro, sigo balaz. Megiro, sigo. Rashi says this, like chiga, siga, chiga. V'kone shelo ein odom. How do you say a saw in French? A saw. When you saw, how do you say it? See, okay. Okay, kone shelo ein odom. And also, its stem is what? Is not reddish. V'zenikra tzafsefo. It's called tzafsefo. The psula. And therefore, even though it resembles it, but since it's not the right species, it's possible. Yesh min arova she'ein pi o'ola shelo cholok ve'eno kamasor. El yesh bo tlomim ketanim ad me'od k'mo fimago kotten v'zeh kosher. He says there's another type of arova, willow, which its edge is not smooth, but it's not like this. It's not like a saw either. A saw, the teeth are deep, right? They're deeper. Or it's slight. It's not smooth, but it has like slight little pricks on it. It's not exact, like nicks. Like, when you check a chalaf, which you slaughter with, it has to be exactly smooth. If it has the slightest nick, it's not a valid shechita. So similarly, the leaf is not jagged, like a saw, but it's not smooth, totally smooth. It's valid. Tlomim means it has like furrows. It's not continuously smooth. Okay? Kamo pi magol v'zeh kosher. It's like a sickle. Like the edge of a sickle, v'zeh kosher. It's valid. Let's see the Mishna Berura. Fiv cholok. Rotzolo mechudo. Means the edge. The edge is smooth. The edge of the leaf of a arova is smooth. Vafilbo the yorok, although it says the stems normally has a reddish tinge, 229. Chosheno lovan mamash odom yikrik. He says as long as it's not white, we discussed it earlier, where it loses its greenish tinge, it's fine. Shaval pishu yorok me'ach she'ashemesh makebo nasa odom. He says when the sun shines it sufficiently, it will turn reddish. It has this reddish tinge. B'chal odom hu. He says you need all three indicators, which is an elongated leaf, the edge is smooth, and also it has this reddish tinge on the stem. He says they usually all go hand in hand. There's no such thing as a leaf which is elongated and smooth that the stem is not red. So they all go hand in hand. Because that's the nature of the species itself. No, that's what it says. If it's transplanted somewhere else. Because it's the same species. He says only because the majority grow along a stream. But even if it was found in a desert or in the mountains, it's kosher. He says, nevertheless, some say, since the Torah refers to them as Arvi Nochal, it's the willow of the stream, it's better to take those that grow alongside a stream. Who's the base? Ayin Tur. Cites a Tur. What difference does it make? Factually, it's the same species. Whether it grew by the stream, didn't grow by the stream. You talk about the length of the stem or the length of the leaf? No, leaf. It depends where you cut it. Depends where you cut it. So it's a large bush, so they're long. So, but you don't cut it. If you want to make a statement, then sure. So you cut it from the bottom. Okay, okay. I don't need the liability of hitting someone. Okay, if he psula. Okay. It says, what about if it has a jagged edge? It's not valid. Minatora it's another species. Then he says, however, there's another type of arava, which its edge, the edge of the leaf is not jagged like a saw, although they're like dips in it. It's not exactly straight. But it has the other indicators. It's an elongated leaf, which is even a willow tree has the elongated leaf. Ze kosher, the darko gamki ligodel al nachal, kumushar rovasvi b'chal arvi nochal, still classified as the willow of the stream. Vini kamapomim melaktin arovis and orim kitanim, shenim yodim ben yeminim l'smolam, tzorch hakon lashkiach kol zeh. He says you find young boys, they pick these and they sell them, and he says they don't know the difference between the right and the left. First time I ever seen Mishna uses this term. They don't know the difference between the right and the left in this week's parsha. Right? Yomanu small. Yomanu small. You should. Okay, except there's a difference. He says, therefore, the one who buys from these children, these young boys, has to be very careful to make sure it's the right species. The one without the very jagged, just the neat one seems to be okay. It's okay. It's okay. Usually you don't find them today. Yeah, you don't find it. It's either right or it's not. It's usually from a willow tree. Remember years ago, they used to have the young boys. They used to go to Central Park, and they cut. Forget about being stolen. Cut, right? But they would, and they would sell it. What did people know? They would sell them the whole set, $3, the whole set on Canal Street. Okay.
Well, then what happens if 1 year there's drought and we cannot find any?
You have no choice. What are you supposed to do?
Would you replace it with something?
No, nothing. It's not. You don't have it. Arova sheyovsha. What happens if the willow dries, this is very common, dries up very quickly. We discussed earlier, the hadas, the myrtle, takes years for it really to become halachically dry. Because we said earlier, even if it becomes brittle, it's not dry. It has to lose its greenish color. But the hadas, the arova, you leave it exposed for a day or two, it becomes the leaf, it's gone. It's already dried out. You have to keep it in water if you want to keep it moist, or keep it wrapped, not exposed to the air. Either dried or the majority of its leaves fell off. The tip was snipped off. Psula. Remember we differentiated before between the hadas. The hadas, because it was braided all the way to the top, so we said it wasn't obvious if the top is snipped off. But the arova, which the leaves come out, extend outward from the stem. If you snip off the tip, it's obvious. So therefore, that's a problem in the hodder, because the first thing you notice is the top of something, and because it's not covered to any degree, it's lacking in hodder. So therefore, if it's dry, the majority of the leaves fall off, or sheniktam rosha, or the tip was snipped, psula. Al kamusha, what about if it's wilted? Oh, shenoshu mixes or less, some of the leaves, which is inevitable, some of the leaves fall off, but the majority of the leaves originally were there. Kshera. Ram Marsha Bindiktam Roshi says the Rambam validates the arova even if the tip is snipped off. Okay, we'll see. You have differentiate. So by the lulav, Niktam Roshi, we say it's possible. Arova Shiyovsho, Haini Barovo there again. The majority of the leaves dried, because it's no worse than the minority fall off. Oshinoshu Yishdakti Bazel Fomim Noshun Al Yidei Tchivosan. Now he's speaking about something which is factual. You know, we have this sleeve that you put the arova and hadas, you push it in. It's when you push that in, because it's very tight, what happens? The leaves actually tear off the stem. So let's say the arova is 12 inches, right? And now you actually push it in. And how deep do you put? You push it in slightly. Okay, so even the few leaves tear off, the majority are there. But if you push it in too deep, let's say you push 50% of it into that holder. So what are you doing? You're tearing off 50% of the leaves are going to get torn off. Or sometimes people push it in deeper and then they pull it out. Once it's in, you pull it out, the leaves are coming off. So that's what he's speaking about. Shram noshun al yidei tchivosn toch halulav. V'gam al yidei ninua. Also, what about when you wave the lulav? Right? Initially, when it's very fresh, the leaves are not going to come off. But after a day or two, when they start slightly drying, so then they detach more easily. The leaves detach from the stem more easily. Prat be'esrog v'lulav shalakol. Okay, now he's talking about, what about, it's a community lulav. So you have multiple people using it. So ultimately, what happens to the leaves? Shakol, sheyarakol mashmushbem, everybody's hand touches it. Motzi mod, shenoshin rova olin al yidei ninua shaleiza anoshim. I remember many years ago, there's we have no Chabadskas here, but Chabad, years ago in Baltimore, there's a person, he was one of the fundraisers for the yeshiva. He's an old man, he was already in his late 70s, 80s. So when he would come, his name was Rabbi Kowalski, Olav Shalom, and he was a special man. So when he would get an aliyah, so the Chabad person, he wants to know where the laning is going to start and where it's going to end. Before he says the bracha, and then he takes his tzitzis and he rubs the letters like this, and he goes like this. You have a person like this, too many people, ultimately you're not going to have the letter is going to be erased. And they invalidate the Sefer Torah. Mishna Berura speaks about this. That, you touch the Sefer Torah, you kiss it. Some people don't even touch the letters, they just touch the parchment with the tzitzis. But they rub it like this, So he says, it's inevitable, he says. He doesn't say all people. He says, if you have a lulav belonging to the kol, he says, the majority of leaves fall off al yidei ezan noshim. He's not saying most people. There's certain people, when they shake it, if it's their lulav, they don't shake it so violently. But if it belongs to the shul, then they shake it. Al ezan noshim. Umemelo sharan noshim shevorchen achkach. So anybody who takes the lulav afterwards, levachin yotzim mitzvah. Not only don't they fulfill the mitzvah of lulav, gam vorchim brocha levatola. They're saying a brocha in vain, because they're not taking the valid species. Uminanochen shal kolpone biyom rishon shum mitzvah asid oraiso yamidu ishiti. Hear this? The first day, which is the oraiso, you should appoint the person to oversee it, to supervise how they take that community lulav. That anybody who senses that he's being too aggressive with it, he shouldn't allow him to take it. I mentioned, I was just reading, in the mirror in Shanghai, they had, or not in Shanghai, in the mirror in Europe, it wasn't so simple to get the Daled Minim. So they would have two. One, the Rav of the community had, and the other was the Rashiv of the Mir. And they had hundreds of students. They would stand in a line, they would take it, say the bracha, they wouldn't even allow them to shake it. They would hold it for a moment, give it right back. Because if you have hundreds of people even shaking it slightly, by the time you get to number 50, there's not much left. It's manhandled. And that's what they would hold it, give it right back, and then they would continue. He says, Yaftev Yamidu Ishiti Shifakeh Olov. Rov Oleo. When is the Arava apostle? If the majority of leaves fall off. Hainu Kishir Shloshet Tvochim Shel Arava. Right? An Arava has to be 3 Tvochim. 3 Tvochim is 12 inches. Bach Sherachron Sim Tafreshim Vavim Daldlu Oleo Me'akona Oshinistiku Oleo. What about if they're still attached but they're hanging? What about if the leaf is split? You know, sometimes the leaves break, part of the leaf breaks off. If you notice sometimes. The leaf gets torn. No. 3/4 leaf is still there, but let's say part of the leaf breaks off. It happens. Oshinistiku. Oshinechu, either they're split. The leaf is split. It's not a whole leaf. Koser Rav Magid Shezeh Mikri Nifritzu Aleo Psuli. It's a problem. If the leaf is split, it's a problem. But again, it has to be the majority of the leaves. Chose Hainu Imbrovo Leo Hukach. Kosmo Gravrom Sheish Lahachmi Kamoso. He says, especially, even though it's a chumrah from the Magid Mishnah, the Rav Magid, that's the commentary on the Rambam, he said, but since the arov is a species which is easily found, you should be machmir and get yourself a new set of arovas. And factually today, arovas, it's easy to replace them on Chol HaMoed. Hadassim is not so simple. Once they sell them out, you can't get them. Arovas, because we have Hoshana Rabbah, right? They cut new arovas for Hoshana Rabbah anyway. So there are plenty of arovas which could be gotten. So it's not a problem. Sheniktam rosha, what happens if the tip of the arov is snipped? Sheniktam eitzo, the stem, that's where the top of the stem is cut. Avol niktam oleh, what about if the leaves, the upper leaves are torn off? Oshafmi rosha, ein afke mina bazed nachshav ksharol. It's no difference in the upper leaves, the lower leaves. As long as the majority of the leaves are on the arov, it's valid. Dad yovish v'niktam rosha, humitam hoder. Why, if the top is snipped off, or it dries out, why does it invalidate it? As we discussed earlier, because it's lacking in hodor. He says, however, he cites the ritvo, if the majority leaves fall off, it's not because it's not hodor, because you no longer have the arava. Once told of a story many years ago, the Ramos says in the laws for Rosh Hashanah Kippur, or for Slichos, that the Chazan should be 30 years old, preferably, should be a Talmud Chacham, married, and have children. Those are the qualifications of a Shlich Tzibur. Because if he's more mature, he's Talmud Chacham, and he has what to daven for, he has a family, so that is the optimum type of Shlich Tzibur. So there's a story in Brisk. There was a person he tried out. He was over 30, he had a family, Talmud Chacham, and he was turned down for the job. They gave him a tryout, and they weren't satisfied. So he goes to Reb Chaim Brisker, Reb Chaim Soloveitchik. He was the Rav of Brisk. He puts in his complaint. He feels, there must be some kind of things going on behind the scenes. They favor another one, and that's why he was rejected. And he's more qualified than the other person. So Reb Chaim says to this person, he says, give me a sample of, of what you're able to do. So he hears him already. So Chaim says, I want to explain you something. He says, if your voice was pleasant, so then we speak about all these other qualifications as elevating you to a special level. But you realize, but if you don't make the grade of being a chazan, you could have all the qualifications in the world. You're not a chazan, you don't make the grade. So therefore, that's the reason why they rejected you. And arava, you have dried leaves. The leaves, but if there are no leaves on the stem, it's not an arava. So you don't have the species anymore. The species is gone. It's like you remove the species from the lulav. So it's not there, it's not there. This Yuralif, but he says if it's wilted or some of the leaves, he says it's kosher. But he says nevertheless, the connotation or the inference of the language, but it's not kedai. It's not worthwhile to take this. But since the willows are so common, you can find it. Tov lahadel chatchil gamozeh. Machshiv naktinon kisvar rishona. We don't accept the psak of the Rambam that if the tip of the arov is snipped, it's not considered valid. To be continued. Baruch Hashem. How's your trip? Safe? Okay, Baruch Hashem. Okay, Baruch Hashem.
Consistent with the reading of the Mishnah, right?
100%. Oh, you're right. You met my son yesterday, he told me. Okay. No. Rav Henkin, David, it's important for you to hear. Rav Henkin Zech Tzarech Levrocha was a colleague of Rav Moshe Feinstein. And he says, Hasidim, they kiss the Sefer Torah with their mouths. Most, if you're not a chosid, usually you don't. You just touch it with your tzitzis and kiss it. So Rav Henkin held was of the opinion that you should not kiss it with your mouth. Why? Just what he says. It's very often, people, the saliva goes on the mantle, on the cover of the Sefer Torah. So one person, his mouth touches. What somebody else, he should have his, kiss something that somebody else's saliva. Firstly, he holds it's not respectful. He holds it's not healthy. It's a question of disease, transmitting disease, especially he's talking, in Europe, where it was very common, tuberculosis, who knows what. You're exposing yourself to all kinds of things. He even says, Rav Henkin, it's enough, even at a distance, to go like that. That's sufficient. However, if you take a look, Tefillah Zaka that we say on Yom Kippur before Kol Nidre, so it was written by the Chayodim. Chayodim wrote Tefillah Zaka. You know what Tefillah Zaka is? Chayodim wrote Tefillah Zaka, authored it. So there he speaks about the mouth that was sanctified. So he says, how was it sanctified? Through the kissing of the Sefer Torah. That's what he writes. We say it in the Tefillah Zaka. So you see, it is, okay, kissing Sefer Torah means that you kiss a mezuzah. Also, it's purely chavivasam. It shows love for a mitzvah. You kiss something that you value, that's endeared to you. So that's what it is. But it brings about a certain degree of sanctification.